Our first prospect today is Michael Mayer, Notre Dame tight end, 6'4.5", 249 pounds, 9.5-inch hands. He ran a 4.7 in the 40 at a 1.66 10-yard split, 118-inch broad jump. And last year in 12 games, he had 67 receptions, 809 yards receiving, and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, those combine numbers are nothing to write your grandma about. But thanks for coming up. But those production numbers are really impressive. And that's what he did. He was super productive at Notre Dame. You know, the number one receiving option in this offense, and he got it done year in and year out. I mean, when you look at Michael Mayer and you watch his film, he's a solid all-around tight end. You know, he really reminds me of two Dallas Cowboy tight ends, former Jason Wynn and Dalton Schultz. Like,
I'm with you there, man.
But not as athletic as you said, Schultz.
I said, you know, my last probably comp of this guy is he reminded me of Dalton Schultz as well, but he probably is not as fast. He's not as quick. So that I think that kind of lends itself to your Jason Witten stuff, because towards the end of Jason Witten's career, he was lumbering. And that is a description I also used in my notes for Kincaid. So he's an all-around guy.
You mean Michael Mayer.
I mean Michael Mayer.
Don't blasphemize Kincaid.
So sorry.
I will end the show right now.
I'm so sorry, Rich. I'm going to apologize because I did not mean that. That was a slip.
See this ring?
That's
the other one belongs to Dalton, so be careful.
I looked down at Kincaid on my tabs down here, and that's why I said that.
Better be Kinkidding.
But I am Kinkidding. But I'm not Kinkidding about the fact that he lined up everywhere, which is nice. He is one of the better, if not the best, blocking tight ends in this. So I think this is, you know, Michael Mayer is a guy that's going to help a NFL team, and he's going to get on the field immediately. You know what I mean? Right away, day one. He's probably going to get drafted very high, either in the first round or high in the second round of the actual NFL draft. And you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, I agree. I mean,
okay.
He 100% fits the mold of, like, he's going to help an NFL team for sure. Like, this guy's built for the NFL. Like you said, he blocks really well. He's big. He's strong. He's physical. It gets it done.
He just doesn't have the quick twitch stuff.
Oh, he doesn't have any of that.
None of it, which is unfortunate. I mean, it at times for me, it looks like he's running with ankle weights on or something like that. He just doesn't have good foot frequency. It doesn't lend to good crisp route running. But he wins in other ways. You know what I mean? He's able to shield defenders with his body. So
he does that really well too.
He does. He's going to need the kind of quarterback that's they're going to use him as a safety blanket. He's going to get a lot. Like, if he gets a lot of volume, he'll be a very fantasy viable tight end. In my opinion, I'm not sure he's ever going to be an upper echelon guy, but when Hunter Henry was a guy that was floating around in the tight end one circuit, I see him very kind of similar to him, but Hunter Henry was probably a smidge more athletic.
Yeah, but he needs that kind of target. That's how I ended my notes after watching this film. Literally, my last sentence says, "We'll need a heavy amount of targets to be an elite tight end dynasty."
Do you think he has the skills to be? I think he's got really good box out ability. You know, basketball type of. He just is not quick twitch. So he's going to have a guy that either is established and likes to use the tight end, or I think that he almost grows with. You know what I mean? A young guy that he grows with. And, you know, obviously for fantasy production early on in his career, you want him to probably go with that established guy that really is just looking for a safety blanket and likes to target tight ends. But if he grows with a guy, that might be actually better for his long-term.
It's like you're reading my notes as well, because I wrote for my cons. I wrote, starting off with, speed and athleticism is the biggest takeaway I came away that I didn't love about Michael Mayer's tape, and that doesn't get a lot of separation because of that. So he does, you know, he has a lot of tight people on his hips. And I wrote, we'll likely need a couple of years to adjust to NFL speed and grow with his NFL quarterback to become, again, to have that option. I think he'll be safe, but for him, when I watched Michael Mayer, if you're happy with like Cole Kmet, Pat Freiermuth output right now, which isn't terrible, but anywhere from tight end 8 to tight end 15, which is the same guy. Right. That's what I feel like you're going to get out of Michael Mayer here early. And I think you're going to get really blown away for definitely, if people don't listen to the show, like draft capital, right? He's going to get drafted higher than some other tight ends that I would rather draft for my dynasty team because of just what he does for an NFL roster. Like, he could block really well. Dalton Kincaid doesn't block at all. And we have a couple other guys that don't block at all as well. So an NFL team is really going to like him because he's really going to come and help, because that's what he's going to do well. He's got really good hands. He catches the ball away from his body all very well. You said he He really boxed out his defenders really well. He high points the ball.
Yep. He's got a huge catch rate.
Catch rate.
Yeah.
And what's nice about his class, and I'm going to say, I don't have a lot of bad to say about a lot of these tight ends we're going to talk about. I like probably 90% of these guys. And a lot of them high point the ball well. A couple don't. But he does it some of the best in the class. Not the best, because that's for husband number one. And, he caught 17 of 26 contested catches, most in his class. He does a really good job he does that jab step when he's running. Then those quick slants, like that helps him get some separation there, where he'll run, he'll stick his leg in the ground real quick, and he'll jerk his head, and that helps him out a little bit. His hands are fantastic, always catches the ball away from his body. He'll line up all over the place. He played halfback. He played 45% of his snaps in the slot. He played 15% in the Z receiver. He was asked to block a lot. Should be a fantastic red zone target as well. Could get a massive boost there. He can run the routes. Lots of room to develop as well still.
Yeah, and the good news on him, and it's maybe a negative for some of the other guys, is he's only 21.
Second youngest tight end in the class.
Right. And unlike, some of these, just like the running back class there's such a large amount of them just because of all the COVID stuff and guys were getting extra years. We're going to see some of these guys that are older, 5th year, 6th year guys that are coming out. So there's going to be some 23, 24, 25-year-old guys.
Husband one, a little older.
Right, exactly. So for Michael Mayer, though, getting back to him, he is a true third-year guy. You know what I mean? Like
love.
Exactly. So 21 years old. He'll be 22 for the season, but young.
When
lot of room to improve.
You let the athleticism, lumbering, runs heavy-footed, gets off the line slow, little to no burst, like more of a possession receiver, can be slow at times getting out of his breaks. When you watch the film, this is all the stuff that you see. So, but then you go back and you look at the production numbers that he puts up. Yeah. And he's extremely productive.
840 yards in 2021, 809 in this past season. So, I mean, those are pretty good in 12 game seasons. So, I mean,
that's the catch there.
Right.
You know what I mean, for me, because I end up having Michael Mayer, and I was really surprised that you came out the same way. Is from a dynasty outlook from a rookie draft, I have him as my tight end 5.
So do I. Right around there, he's going to be 4, 5, or 6, depending on where the dust settles on some of these other guys.
Look at the draft capital.
And the draft capital, all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, what else did Notre Dame have around him?
Nobody.
You know what I mean? That's so. Did some of these numbers kind of get inflated due to the fact that he was just the safest and best option out there? You know what I mean?
There's a couple guys in this class that way that were the number one option for their team.
Right. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but chances of him going to the NFL and being that are
not very good.
Very slim. But, especially I think with his limited burst and kind of overall just twitchy athleticism.
But he did exactly what you wanted to do. When put in that position, you produce, right? So like he was the main focus of the offense, and he did produce week in and week out. And it wasn't get beaten defenders, past the catch point, but he caught the ball, he got done, he got the ball field, was getting first down. So overall, a really solid tight end. Like when I say he's tight end 5, I think that speaks more of how good this class is. And the upside that I like from a dynasty fantasy football purpose only, that's where this all comes from. I think from if I was an NFL team, I'd be very intrigued by Michael Mayer over definitely some of these other guys. Mm-hmm. But for fantasy football purposes, not as much, because there's a lot of guys that come in that could fit that mold. That OJ Howard, first
round pick, exactly what I was just thinking of.
Big, strong, really good catch radius, a little lumbering, a little slow down of his breaks. Still had the first round pedigree. From a fantasy football, actually from a whole NFL standpoint, that didn't really work out very well.
Right.
So Michael Mayer, both of our tight end 5. I wish Garrett was here so he can tell us where he had him. But somewhat for a guy that was a consensus tight end 1 overall, I was like, oh.
I couldn't get past the athleticism and just, I guess, the lack of athleticism and burst.
I was spitting on my microphone. I'm so depressed.
I don't blame you, man.